You sounded low for a second.
Oh, it's because I was just mumbling.
Ah, gotcha.
But yes, I did sound low because I wasn't actually talking. Trying to.
I'll crinkle a Quest chip bag.
Oh, you're so fancy with your Quest chips, protein chips.
Delicious.
Well, this I don't know how long it took me to do this, but you'll appreciate it. Considering lighting and everything we talked about at one time before. Um, with our almost 2 week old baby, be 2 weeks old tomorrow. Um, the normal light source that I have that's behind this camera is now in another room. And so this whole this lighting right here is maybe uh eighth to a quarter of a window pane. Like it's because I've been manipulating the curtains to try and get the lighting a little bit better on this camera angle from right here for the past I don't know how long, like before you even got on here, it was like 440 or 450 or something like that. It's like move the curtain a little bit, come back over, sit down in the chair, jump up, move the curtain a little bit, um, which is ridiculous. But
Like
uh,
I feel like with mine, like my configuration, if I could flip everything with this window right here, it'd be perfect. But like I can't. Like it's just my place is not set up that way. So you get this incredible like holy looking backlight thing, unless I try to. And then I utilize every single space I have. So like you see this like just dark streak behind me because it's where I move my chair just back and forth.
nice. Um, yeah, I still have not done a lot of things that I needed to do around the house, and so I've been doing them, like checking them off slowly. Uh, but of course, on the list has been previously mentioned in some podcasts way before now is getting all of the junk in this room like sorted out. So really, this should be flipped the other way, and then there'll be a bunch of like a plethora of Georgia things behind me, even more so than these wonderful banners and pennants that I have right here. So I don't know if that would help us or hinder us. I don't know. So, because speaking of, shout out to all of you out there in Texas. You are our number two most popular state in America that are listening to us. So thank you guys out there in Texas for listening to us.
Look at horns. All right.
um, yeah.
So they're number two. Who's number one?
Uh, Georgia is number one. North Carolina.
Of course they are. Georgia is of course number one. Makes sense.
And interestingly, North Carolina is number three, which I find interesting because it's behind Texas. Like Texas, I mean, I'm sure I know some people out there in
Yeah,
Texas.
I know people in Texas, but I don't think they listen to us. So that's impressive.
Yeah. Um, but either way, thank you guys out there in Texas that have been listening to us and uh, keeping mindful of your nutrition and fitness needs and letting us try and help alleviate some of those things for you. Um, but thinking about Matt and I were discussing topics and trying to get ready for today and thinking about further down the road. This thing comes up often. I think a lot of people ask, um, and I don't know about you, Matt. I know you've been working on losing weight. Congratulations on your weight loss goal. Way to go.
Yeah.
If anybody follows us over on Franchise Nutrition and Fitness on Facebook, you'll see Matt's post where he's lost his weight over the last couple of months. Um,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to not having 6 day a week strength workouts and not having 2 a day cardio anymore. And like I wouldn't have had to do that if and this is probably a topic we can do at some point. Like I would have had to do that if I wanted to be more stringent with the diet stuff. And like my diet was fairly on point with the exception of like liquid calories. Like I didn't want to cut down on the alcohol consumption. So I could be like 180 or below now, but I wanted to kind of keep very similar to my nutritional habits that I had. And so I increased caloric output.
yeah, it's kind of thing. Like if you want to lose weight, it's diet, cardio, walking. You know, like it's kind of the thing. It's not strength training can help you maintain your muscle mass, but it shouldn't be your primary calorie burner. But more, what I was going to talk about, because this relates to your fat loss, is that so many people ask me often, how do you stay motivated? And
Yeah, I get that a lot, and I don't even get that question. I get more of a statement of just I can't find my motivation. I'm not motivated. That's what I hear a lot. I can't find my motivation.
yeah, I feel like motivation is fleeting. It's not consistently there enough for you to be able to rely on being motivated.
Yeah, like I feel like we'll need to draw this out way more than the how I would normally say it to people. But like, yeah, my initial statement when people say that to me is that like motivation is not some magical thing. Like I think it's very easy to get motivated initially. I think we all experienced that, a couple months ago, everybody experienced that, which is the turn of the calendar. Hey, I got motivated because it's January 1st. Everybody has tons of motivation January 1st. Magically, somehow, the calendar turns, we're motivated, and February 1st, nobody has any motivation left. And it's not, again, not some magical thing. It's that you had this goal. So I typically start with, boom, what's the goal? My goal is to hit a certain weight or to look a certain way or whatever, and I build out from that. But that eventually is going to be fleeting. Like that's done. So I've mentioned before that having read the book Atomic Habits, which I liked, it wasn't like anything groundbreaking for me, but it was nice to. It was just kind of made me realize that hey, a lot of the stuff I do, other people are doing out there. The stuff I do for myself and the stuff I do for the people I work with. That it's not about the motivation. It's about creating yourself to be somebody who has these small habits every day. It's not, hey, I want to lose weight. It's I'm somebody who does cardio 2 days a week or two times a day. I'm somebody who gets up and works out. I'm somebody who cuts calories. I am somebody that does this and then just creating habits. Like I'm not motivated to brush my teeth every day. Like the initial motivation there is that I don't want cavities. I like my teeth to be white. I want to have a pretty smile, blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't stay. It's just a habit. I get up every morning, I brush my teeth just because it's a habit.
right,
I'm motivated to go to work because I need money to pay my bills and to go do fun stuff that I want to do. But again, that's fleeting. It's become a habit now that I know that I work. So it's about creating those habits every day versus the motivation for me. Like I said, we need to embellish upon that much more because that's going to be a 5 minute podcast. But
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying on any of those points. I also have not finished Atomic Habits, but I still have the book. It's on the shelf. I've been manipulating my schedule a little bit to make sure that I get more sleep. So I've been like, I push the read pages of books on the back burner to make sure that my sleep got more concrete because that's going to help me out more long term. Um, but the things that I've got through the first third or so of Atomic Habits, and it's all the things that Matt has said already. I highly recommend the book for people that haven't read it before. I do think it's helpful for people that are trying to establish some new norms in their lives. Uh, one of the things that he does point out early on with his own life, the author's life, and all the things that he had to do to get to where he is that he had to set up lots of small, achievable tasks to make sure that he could continue to do it. It's kind of what Matt was saying before. You don't say that um, you want to lose weight. You say that you are someone who does cardio twice a week. Um, and for the motivation aspect of it, I feel like for everyone out there, the biggest thing when it comes to motivation that unites all of us is that it is not consistently there. And that is totally normal. It's
and I think that's such a misconception for so many people is that they think somebody like The Rock, like because you look at The Rock's Instagram and like he's got to be motivated. No, he's created this habit of like working out at 4 o'clock every day. It's just what he does. As my chair keeps falling down. So if you're watching the visual version of this podcast, I'm not 4-2. It's just my chair keeps moving. I need a new one.
uh, but I think that comes down to discipline is greater than motivation.
Absolutely, big time.
it's not, people try to equate them as different as similarities, but there are big differences in there where discipline can be there for you all the time. The thing that Matt was saying before was work. He's motivated by work to be paid for work, but the discipline is that he wakes up every day to get ready for work. Um, I was, I mentioned it earlier in the podcast, but I have a 2 week old. Today is Pi Day, or Happy National Registered Dietitian Day to all of you other registered dietitians out there that listen to the podcast.
Ooh,
It's funny that ends up on Pi Day. It's a part of the comedy. Um, yeah, everything fits. Okay, uh, but
like pieces of a pie.
yeah, um, but I haven't had to wake up to do something specific in the last 2 weeks. Um, except for, I'll take you back. So out of the last 2 weeks, there's one day where I had to wake up to do something specific, which was just get our kids to a doctor's appointment, which was at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's not something that I had to wake up super early for. My
Wasn't
normal,
getting up at 5 a.m. for a workout. Yeah, it was like that.
right. So my normal wake time when I'm working at the hospital, I wake up sometime between 5:30 and 6 consistently, because if the alarm clock hits 6, I wake up thinking, oh, I'm screwed now. I've lost the 30 minutes. I have to get ready. I have to go do something because I have to go to work. It's a disciplinary action that I have to take upon myself to make sure that I get there. The discipline is just waking up enough time to be able to get to work. Whereas over the last couple weeks here, haven't had to do any of those things. So I'm like, oh, I wake up at like 6:30 or 7. Oh, who cares? There's no alarm set. I literally don't turn it on. Um, so it's like when you're on vacation, you don't have, if you have planned things to do on your vacation, then you're going to make sure that you wake up on time to be able to do those things, or that you get out the door of wherever you're on vacation to get to wherever you need to be at a certain time because you have plans that you want to do. Um, and the motivation behind it is that you things that you want to do, things you're excited before. But when you wake up in the morning, you got to go to work. Sure, you have to go to work and you're motivated to get paid, but that's typically for most people out there, that's way lower on the totem pole than I need to go to work so I don't get fired. Right. So like you just have to get up. The discipline is there that you have to be at work at a time to clock in or get started. And um, that is something that is going to help you be successful no matter what you're doing. Setting up some small achievable thing that you can do that you will do. Right. So like Jordan Peterson says, if you're ever trying to make any new habits, make sure it's um, something that's not only achievable, like a SMART goal, right? So smart, but something that you would do, right? So think about,
Yeah, like I like that you said small and achievable. Like it, and I always use the term, and it's very similar in Atomic Habits, but like I use the term create a win. Like if you put a habit out there or a goal out there that's like even like a stretch goal, like eventually we can do those with people that I work with, but initially I want to create a win. Like if you can work out 5 days a week, sweet. Let's start out with saying three. Like that way, if you get 4 or 5, awesome, you've exceeded. But if you only get three, then awesome, we've achieved 100% of the goal. We've created that win.
right? In the last 2 weeks, I have worked out 2 or 3 times. And I know that's, way less than Matt's been working, but uh,
Your lifestyle is a little different than mine. And then like if you're watching the video, like what I'm intrigued by is how do you have a 2 week old? Is maybe the lighting, but how do you look better rested than I do?
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I've been trying just to get.
But like you have a newborn and two other kids. Like how do you look like you don't have dark circles under your eyes and I do. Like how does that happen?
Well, I drink a lot of coffee. There's that. But um, I so my wife and I, and this is established when we had our first child. Her goal is that she doesn't wake me up during the night to take care of the child because we're all of our children have been breastfed 100% of the way through their first year of life. And so currently we have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. And she wakes up in the night to take care of the newborn. So that way, when I wake up in the morning, I can take care of the other two all day long.
Boom. All right. Perfect. Teamwork.
So I get all the sleep in. And we had talked about it before. My goal with sleep is always at least 7 hours, and we'll do another sleep podcast in a couple weeks. I got some interesting new stuff to talk about. Which hopefully be sleep part 2. Maybe it'll get more plays than the last sleep episode. But the thing with me trying to get my sleep back in a better routine and getting the hours is going to help me long term, both from a physical fitness standpoint and a physical body physiology nutrition standpoint. Like, if you sleep better, everything works out better. Your body does a lot of work to itself to repair things while you're asleep, which is going to help you out with a lot of any other goals that you have. Also, of course, helps me out with making sure I'm able to take care of my children. So over the last 2 weeks, I've really been focusing on, I need to make sure that I get to bed at a certain time, so that way I can wake up when I need to wake up. And I haven't been setting an alarm, but I've still been getting to bed at the right time that I want to be getting to, which is hard enough, but I have to set reminders for myself to start getting ready for bed, so that way I can have the discipline there to continue with that one individual goal. And as far as the workouts, I was like, if I can just get in one time over the week, because if I'm working out right now, I have to have both of my 2 kids are in the garage gym with me, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Right. So I gotta make sure to hit my lifts with good forms without killing them. Right.
Children that small don't make good spotters. That's
Spotters. Also, they can't like spot that you might crush them with a plate. So like it's the other fun part, because I'm not using like machines or functional trainers.
Do you just like look at them and just like scream repeatedly? Do you even lift, bro?
It's kind of more get off the platform. That's what I say.
Daddy's deadlifting. This plate's coming down on your head. Move.
8 foot by 8 foot place is called the platform, and I have them disciplined well enough that if I say get off of it, they will step off and just stand there and watch me lift, and then when I rack it, they'll get up. They'll walk forward.
Hey, that's good conditioning. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah.
But the danger there is like when I'm bench pressing or something, I'm like looking at the ceiling, right? And I can't see where they're at. And when they enter my peripheral vision, where's the bar going to be at over my body? Like, am I going to?
That's a fun game. That's
yeah, it's interesting pause rep. Which we'll talk about some of that time.
I mean, if you have 3 kids and 2 survive, that's 2 for 3. That's 667 batting average. Like, you're going to the Hall of Fame easily. So like, and that's the reason. Like in the 1800s, you had 500 kids. Like, you kill 5 of them, like you're awesome. So
yeah. Well, it's not that you purposely killed them; it's just that they died from
died of dysentery. I played Oregon Trail. Yeah.
Like, you weren't able to ford the river appropriately.
I always hunted too much, and all the meat spoiled. Yeah,
yep,
you don't want to put spoiled meat in your mouth. That's a lesson for all of life.
Yeah, or you could end up like at the Donner Party and just eat whatever you have.
I love that I got taught that in like 3rd grade. Like, that's like to learn about the Donner Party. It's like
it's like reasons why you should always have food on hand. But sidetrack, we'll reel it back in. Discipline is greater than motivation, and if you can stay disciplined with anything for like 3 days or more, there's a good chance you can build it into something that's going to keep you going for a long time, way better than any moment when you have motivation. For example, the last day that I did a workout, it was just, I have to work out. I the Everything was going nuts. It was crazy. I looked at my wife, was like, I have to work out today. I went out there and just got started. Like writing stuff down in the notebook. Our neighbor across the street came by. She's like, "You write stuff down?" I was like, "Yes, I write stuff down." Like explaining everything. And I think I only got through 3 exercises out of like the 5 that I wanted to do. But I started, and once I got through the first exercise, it's like, okay, I could do another one. I can do it. It was just having to get started.
Yeah, that's a lot of times what I with people who have difficulty with an exercise habit, I'll kind of say something very similar. Like our goal is just you're gonna go to the gym. Boom, that's it. So like you may get there and you have no motivation and you can walk right back out. Like your goal is just to go to the gym. But once you're there, you're gonna do something. Like you're not just gonna so it's the same thing with you. Like your goal is just to work out. And so like, hey, you did one exercise and well, you got 2 exercises, you got 3 exercises, but like getting it all 5, but whatever. Like you got 3 exercises was so much more than what you could have done, which was absolutely zero. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's really important just that you set something that's small and achievable in the beginning, something that you is small enough, achievable enough that you can do, that you would do. So for my example right there, it was just that I would go out to the gym and start working out. Like just something that's, if I just get anything in. And we'll talk about it we've talked about it before. Like if you only had 30 minutes, what would you do? Um, if you had to like just jump in and throw something together. If you're at a commercial gym, go back and listen to that episode. That's going to help you out a lot. Where we talk about running through the selectorized equipment, you can just get stuff really quickly. Or if you're just doing body weight stuff, you can use a deck of cards. You can do body weight exercises. We go over all of that in a 30-minute episode. But what is most quintessential about that is not that if you only had 30 minutes, it's that you went and you did something. That's the discipline piece of it, just getting out there to do it. But I think that's all I got to talk about when it comes to discipline versus motivation. A lot of people
No,
ask,
it's just it's just a small habit. It's literally just doing something. It's like we're not everybody's motivated all the time. Motivation's fleeting, and yeah, it's not linear. It's gonna be a nice little wave, and there's some days where I'm motivated, and if I had 4 hours to spend in the gym, I would. And there's other days where I'm like, I don't want to do this at all. But on both those days, I go to the gym.
right?
Like it's not because it's just not because it's I'm motivated to do it because I've built the habit and it's the discipline to do it.
Yeah. So for those of you out there listening, if you haven't already, you can go now check us out at franchisenutritionandfitness.com or franchisenf.com.
Ooh, new shorter domain name.
Short the
I
domain
I
available.
thoroughly enjoy that because yeah, like it's
Don't worry.
I don't have the motivation to type out all of those letters, but I have the discipline to do it. But now that I don't need either one of those, and I can just type out franchisenf.com.
Yeah, franchisenf.com. Go there, check out the programs we have available for you, sign up for your free meet and greet, and get started with us today. Help you get to your discipline things so that way you can be better motivated to go to continue on. Like we say every week, maximize every bite.
Maximize every rep.